Hello, everyone. Bernie Floresca. Today's March 16th. Welcome to our weekly business relations strategy workshop, wherein we workshop your messages with your cold outreach. So my apologies. I forgot that I haven't started recording, but Venkata had a question about what I was just speaking about on the screen. So just to bring everybody up to speed, Naidu, whose message you see up on the screen right now, was trying to get a conversation in with Jeanette, who we all met during a career fair company visit last month. So Naidu yesterday told me that he was speaking to Jeanette and that she said she was going to call him, but she didn't. So I was like, okay, how about this as a strategy? Why don't you make a post since we just visited the company? You have the pictures that I shared in the LinkedIn group. Make sure to tag Jeanette and thank her for this, because when you tag her, she's going to get a notification. So this is where we started this conversation. Naidu followed the suggestion, he posted, and then I told Naidu, we kind of planned this. I said, I am also going to comment on your post, and I'm also going to tag Jeanette. And actually, I was trying to get on the radar of Ken as well, because Ken, I put in a connect request, but he had not quite accepted it yet. So I was kind of doing this for my purposes. Naidu was doing it to get on Jeanette's radar. Bernie was doing it to get on Ken's radar. So what I was sharing was every time that you tag somebody, they get a notification. Every time you like your tag on that somebody, they get yet another notification. And every time any other people like the tag comment, like they got notified when Nick liked it, and they got notified when Naidu liked it. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So Venkata just asked the question, and I want you to repeat it for our audience. Venkata, just repeat your question, please.
Yeah, sure, Bernie. So my question is, tagging them in a post do really make sense, and but whenever they do get a notification in a comment they tagged in, or else someone liked the comment, I just wanted to know how we can go ahead with that, to understand the difference between annoying them and tagging them to gain their acknowledgement.
So thank you, Venkata. That was a very good question, actually, especially for somebody new to this work. So the initial tag of Naidu in the post, that's acceptable, right? Because he's actually thanking them. So the first tag was good. Bernie's reply tagging them, still not too bad, because I'm just responding to this, okay? So I love the question of Venkata in that, when does it become annoying to them? We don't control it when you tag somebody and then other people like your tag. Okay. And the quick answer to Venkata's question was, when does it become annoying? And the easy answer is put yourself in their shoes. So when you tag them the first time, that's probably okay. When somebody out in the audience sees it and also tags you, like in this case, Bernie knows Jeanette, Naidu knows Jeanette. So this is still probably okay. If, however, I go into another post right now and I tag them again, then it starts getting into the point, especially since I know that they were tagged 2 other times with these other likes here. So I realize that's kind of like a fuzzy answer. In this case, I do not control what other people do to a post once it's out there. So we can't really do anything about that. But if I took another step and that I, again, as Bernie tagged it, or even Naidu, for example, if you kind of like tag them again, then you kind of get into the annoying zone. Does that make sense, Venkata?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Thank you, Bernie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Other questions about that from the rest of the team? No other questions? I just opened up the participant page on the screen. Can you guys see it, or is it just for me? I was just curious what you guys are seeing. Can you see the participant page?
Yes. I
Yeah.
can see.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, so that's not a good thing because I just have to be cognizant of what I'm showing on the screen. So what I wanted to cover, well, first of all, for the people who are on the call, for Ashlash, Mohammed, Naidu, and Venkata, did you have any other questions? Kind of like Venkata just ask us hot burning questions before I go into like the agenda for today.
No, Bernie.
No, Bernie.
No questions at all? Okay, good. We have, I wanted to cover, not that, this one. Can you see the screen okay from Jason's?
Yes.
Okay, this isn't good. I'm trying to like enlarge it for you guys. Can you see the text okay?
Yeah, it's pretty visible. Good.
All right. So this is Jason. Jason is one of the first students that I met here at Illinois Tech when I started the job in June. So one of the things that I like about Jason is whenever we give them suggestions, kind of like you guys actually on this team, we give you suggestions, you apply it, and then when you apply it and then you run into roadblocks, and then you reach back out, that's actually where the learning occurs. So what I wanted to do specifically with Jason share in the LinkedIn group is what is it that we can learn from what he did? So can I get a volunteer to, actually, I'm going to read the first paragraph. Stop me if you have a comment about anything he says, and I'm going to do the same thing if I wanted to highlight something in Jason's share. Is that okay?
Yeah. But
Questions about the instructions? So Jason goes, I want to share an update on my internship application search. In the fall, he applied for an internship at a company with an IIT alum who was interested in IIT students. So move number one, that was kind of good. We were capitalizing on the alumni, right? Although there wasn't an opening for a specific position that Jason wanted, he applied for a mechanical role and landed an interview. So what lesson could we learn from this? Nobody?
it's pretty straight to the point, Bernie.
Which
He
is what?
applied for the mechanical role and landed in the interview, but he did want to go for a position in sustainable and energy modeling.
Okay, very good. So you could have an idea of what it is that you want, and you want to be flexible about the openings that are out there, especially as an intern. It's good to have an internship in the field that you want to get to eventually, but it's not a bad idea to be open to other suggestions because an internship is an internship is an internship. So the next part, Jason says that during the interview, he expressed interest in the company's separate service dedicated to sustainability and building energy. This was his initial interest. So after the interview, he says that he followed up with the HR rep about the decision, and they said that they would get back to him, but they didn't. So this was back in the fall, and it's now March. They just heard back from this company. So another lesson I want for you guys to know is that sometimes when HR people or hiring managers don't get back to you, it also could be legitimately that they do not have information. Is what I want you to get out of that. Any other comments on what I just shared? If no comments, Jason said that another HR reached out to him about an opening in the field that he actually wanted. And the reason they were reaching out now was because he expressed this during the interview for the job that he didn't want, right? So it turns out the manager who actually interviewed him in the fall had left a note. So these are behind the scenes things that we do not see that could be happening on our behalf. So sometimes when you don't hear anything, I know it's kind of hard for us because in the absence of information, we usually think of the worst. So what actually happened here was the first manager forwarded Jason's resume to this next manager, who in turn now reached out to Jason because there was some development in the field. So Jason also, and this is where I want you guys to remember, just because you finished speaking to one person, I love what Jason did. And then he said that he also reached out to the manager who initially interviewed him to express gratitude. So this is all part of what we're talking when we say building business relations. So Jason spoke to this manager once before. As a result of this, he also reached out to the manager again. It's kind of like letting them know that they're grateful. And number two, this is good practice in you moving forward. So it's like a collection of people that you're wanting to gain throughout your entire career. But remember, it's not a one-shot deal. So what did you learn from that? I want to hear what you guys have to say. You guys know the format of our workshops is it's not just Bernie talk. I want to hear what's going on in your mind. So comments, please.
Bernie, I feel Jason has shown some professionality by just showing his gratitude to the previous HR rep, who actually recalled that there is a guy called Jason who showed interest in this particular opening. And yeah, that's how it works in the corporate thing.
Right. So that just because you finished speaking to them at one point in time, this is where the concept of having a spreadsheet of all these contacts would be good practice for you guys. Does everybody know where a suggested spreadsheet is in the index? Thanks for joining us, by the way, Ariba.
Hello.
Mohammed, hi. Mohammed's mic looked like it's bad. Ariba, did you understand what we were talking about so far?
I just joined in like a few minutes ago, so I'm just catching on.
Okay, we'll let you catch up. So thank you, Venkata, for sharing that. So he was saying that Jason was doing follow-ups. He practices what we teach when we keep on saying about follow-up. Just because you spoke to somebody once doesn't mean that that's the end of it. You should constantly be thinking of these people moving forward. And when you remember them, and that's where I just said, it's a good idea to have like some sort of spreadsheet. And in your spreadsheet, let me go through that right now. In the index, I wasn't ready for this. I am going to the career services group. So when I click on the index like so, it's actually, I'm doing a Control F, hashtag business relations. And it's like at the top topic. If you see, it's like this bullet down here close to the top says contact Google Sheets. When you get into this, I would note down the name. If I were Jason, I would note down the name of that manager here, put in their LinkedIn profile, and notice how I have an example of notes out here. I can say 2022. I spoke to them back in July. I responded with a thanks. This is all for your viewing pleasure, by the way. So you structure whatever notes you need to write down so that you kind of remember where you left off for the next time that you speak to them. Any questions about the spreadsheet?
No, Bernie.
Everybody good? All right. So, Ariba, the star of today's show.
Yes.
Did you want to bring up? Ariba's been working very hard, and she's been reaching out to some of these managers. I met Ariba at Career Fair, and she's been just like Jason, practicing what we teach. She's kind of reached out. Well, actually, instead of me summarizing, Ariba, why don't you tell the group what you've done? And then we'll go into some of the messages that you had questions about that we can answer for you right now. And in the process, teach everybody else. and we can learn from the questions that you're asking.
So what I've done is that I go to LinkedIn, find people who are related to my industry. For example, if I'm a material science, so I search about people who have studied material science or are currently doing job in a field that is related to material science, and I reach out to them, connect to them, and I message them. I usually message them asking about their role and what kind of projects do they do and what kind of skills or courses that they took during their bachelor's or master's that helped them land a job. And I usually ask them about their opinions of finding a job. And so that's what I have been done. I have talked to, around 20 people. I usually talk to them, but then there comes a point that I cannot continue the conversation anymore. And the conversation stops, and then I get confused, like what to do now.
Okay. Was there a particular person or message that you wanted to share with us right now? I can stop sharing, Ariba, and you could like take over and let's talk about a few of your cases.
Okay.
Neelam joined us as well. Hi, Neelam.
Do you just wanna share the conversation that I shared you, Bernie? Because right now I have joined through my phone and it's kind of
Okay,
hard to.
gotcha. Of course. So actually, I saved that here. Oh, I killed the windows. I had this organized before the call, but it's all gone. So that's fine. We can find them, right? So the message that was shared earlier is in the LinkedIn group. This one, where it talks about follow-up. So
I don't think we can see your screen.
oh, sorry. Thank you. Now you can see my screen
Yes.
and so just to review the design principles when it comes to messaging. So your message usually wants to be short. Why does it want to be? Why do you want your messages to be short? Let me tell you why. Because when you go to the messages and see, I can see Ariva. She said, Bernie, I'll join the meeting around 1. I could tell exactly just by looking at my list out here what people are saying. I was sharing this with another student earlier that I'm trying to look for some person who was trying to get. I can't find one right now. When you're looking for it, you don't see it. You guys probably don't get it, but I do. Some people just reach out to me because they want my business. And they do not practice what we're speaking at all. These are strangers and they come right out of the blue asking me for a favor, which is like getting I can't find one right now. So it got deleted. The reason we want the message to be short is so that when the person, the hiring manager or the HR person takes a look at this, it's very obvious what it is that we sent to the person, right? So if it's short, they can see immediately what your message was. And then we're saying that so it's short. Number 2, whatever we're saying, we're expecting a response. It's very thoughtful in what we say, because when you say something, you're expecting that they're going to respond, because the whole idea of this is that you're laying the groundwork for a back and forth to occur. And the last one, never, never make a request immediately of a stranger. You have to create the relationship first before you make any request to them. So the discussion that we're having is Ariba goes, hi, hope you're well. I love how we say that you're saying hope you're well because you're talking about them. You're not just coming directly and just say, hey, help me do this. The first comment that I gave Ariba is always, always, always use the person's first name in whatever communication you're doing. Don't leave it blank like this because it's there for you to use. And this is kind of what Ariba was saying. She goes like, I noticed your role as a job at Intel and would love to learn more from you as I want to transition in the industry. I have recently applied. I have my master's. She told them what her degree was from Illinois Tech, and I'm always looking for all these roles. Can you imagine what shows up for this in the message part? Under the message part, oh, now I know why I lost the other. Under the message part, that entire section would not show up, and it's very obvious that it was a longer message, right? You got to realize that these people are very busy. So sometimes they're just like perusing through this, and you see like this. You can tell immediately what the person is saying if they're saying something that's longer. So that's actually part of why we say it has to be short. So just out of curiosity, what do you guys think? Is Ariba's message short enough? I want to hear reactions from the team. Ariba already told me her reactions, so nobody else? For the new people to this call, the reason it's called a workshop is because it's interactive. This isn't Bernie just giving you guys information, hoping that you're going to catch it. To make this more effective, we need interaction amongst us because when we put our brains together, we come up with something that's new and much more beautiful than the information that Bernie teaches. So I want to hear what's on your minds, guys.
Bernie, I think it's not too short.
Actually, hang on a second, Venkata. I appreciate Venkata, like having spoken from the beginning of time, but let's allow one other person outside of Venkata. You'll be the next one to share. I want to hear somebody else.
Sure, Bernie.
Thank you. It shows we have 7 participants. Where did they all go? You think they're in the bathroom?
Hey, Bernie, Ashlesh here.
Hey, Ashlesh. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so I think Ariba did tried her best, but as you suggested, it's better to use first name, greet them, that is the right part, and tell them about yourself first, and then ask for, hey, XYZ, I see you at the job position, I'm interested to connect with you. The message returned under the body part is slightly longer than it. We can use abbreviations in that part like IIT. They know you are in IIT because they can see your profile as well as soon as you say something interesting about you. So that's what I think.
Okay.
I'm open to suggestions, Bernie, if I am wrong in this part.
No. Thank you for sharing, Ashlesh. I don't know if I heard you right in the beginning. Were you saying that it's better to introduce yourself first?
Hi XYZ, like hi John. Hope you are well. I'm Ashlesh. I'm from IIT background. IIT. I'm doing this, and I'm interested in understanding what this job. This is what I'm thinking of.
Okay, good. So Ashlesh is thinking to talk about their name. So, question for Ashlesh and actually for the rest of the team. And Venkata, feel free to jump in right now. For hiring managers, especially for those who posted a job that's out there, how many people do you think are reaching out to them? Do you think there's more than 10, 20, 30?
Like many people are reaching to them.
Many people are reaching to them. And what Ashlesh just shared is what is intuitive. Kind of like talk about yourself, introduce your name. I went to Illinois Tech, which is actually part of what Ariba did out here, right? So if the name of the game is to stand out, and 50 other students are sending the same thing because it's intuitive. I want to say, hi, John. My name is Bernie Floresca. I'm an electrical engineering graduate from Illinois Tech, yada, yada, yada. Guess how many other messages start in the same way? Probably
All of them.
all of them.
Yeah.
Very good, Ashlash. So that's why it is kind of imperative for you guys, if you want to stand out. Like I said, the approach that Ashlash and Ariba did is very intuitive because that's your first thing that you want to do. But what we're trying to teach you right now is if you want to stand out, you need to say something that would kind of like stick out. So let's give you some examples of what this is. And I'm going to do it with this group just to spur, because we have more newer people on this call. So under hashtag business relations, if you don't know it yet, there's these 3 sections that say connect code, and then connect practice, and then connect messaging. These are 3 segments of messages. The first one where it says connect code are initial messages when you're making the initial request. So what you guys probably know is kind of like what Ashlesh said and what Ariba actually did. So this is an example. It's short. It's kind of expecting a response from me. Can you guys see what Akil sent out to me? Akil said, hey, Bernie, I'm a junior graduate major in construction engineering management. I'd be happy to get connected with you. Best regards, and then their name. So it's short. And then I kind of like the message, and that's why I made it an example, because this is what most students are thinking of sending. Right? Is that a correct assumption? I want a reaction from the team. Yes. Venkata, go ahead.
Yeah, Bunny, actually, I did really like that approach because I didn't follow that as of now. When I got a new connection, maybe I'll try to do that. But I'm looking, to get more feedback on this.
Yes. Coca-Cola. So let me give you an example here. Let's see a message that I sent to Coca-Cola. So do you guys think, is this shorter than Ariba's message?
Yeah, this is more like making a good connection in the initial phase. Yeah, this is even shorter.
And how is it good?
We are just trying to informally make a connection and making congratulating them for the day which they have just celebrated based on their recent post.
Yeah, it's a greeting. Or, well, no. This one, what I'm sharing, I just said Happy Tuesday, Chase. And then I said, I love my Diet Coke, smiley face. So it's a greeting because it's Tuesday. I didn't say my name is Bernie Floresca, electrical engineering from Illinois Institute of Technology. This is definitely going to stand out. And guess what I did? I went into Chase's world because he works for Coke. And then I said something that would catch his attention. And I said, I love my Diet Coke. Make sense?
Bernie, may I know the role of Chase in Coca-Cola?
It's probably a hiring manager. He's university recruiting leader. Actually, it's irrelevant what it's irrelevant what their position is, because what applies to somebody in HR applies to an engineer, applies to a vice president. The approach is all the same. I don't vary the approach because of their position. So I'm just curious, where were you going with that question, please?
I don't get the intention of this message, to be honest.
Okay, which is very good. The intention is number 1 to stand out. Number 2, Venkata, you have a best friend, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I would assert that your best friend or even the rest of your friends were strangers at one point, correct?
Yeah, Bernie, they are.
So in order for you to start that conversation, there had to be some relationship going between you back and forth, right? So what's being taught out here has two purposes. Number one is so that you stand out with the rest of what is intuitive to send out to people when you're connecting on LinkedIn. And number two, we're showing you to bring out your personality, kind of like have fun with this, because think of them. If I just met Chase on the street and I wanted to get to know them, would I just dump on them and say, give them all this information about myself and then ask them to help me find a job? Or is this approach that I'm showing you a good way to start the conversation?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it really helps us to stand out. I
It
can.
helps you to stand out.
Yeah.
And then you got to send something that's kind of clever. I'm thinking I was kind of clever by saying that I love my Diet Coke since he works for Coca-Cola. I'm catching his attention, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. I can hear it in Venkata's voice that some light bulb just turned on. I want to hear the reaction of the rest of the other people. Some of you guys have been following this material. Some of you guys are newer, probably hearing this for the first time. So I really love to hear all these comments. If you have concerns, questions, now is the time to ask.
I think when the hiring manager posts a specific question, for example, if they're hiring, so they're mentioning that they're hiring for that role. So, and that would be even good response, you're directly speaking with them, for sending the connection request, I would share my experience. So a few days back, one of the senior manager of some company, posted that she's hiring for a role. And of course, it was around only 5 to 6 likes for that post. And some of mine, she wasn't there in my connection. Some of my mutual connection liked it, and it reflected on my LinkedIn feed. So I just sent her a response that I came across the post, you're hiring for this, let's connect and discuss further about the opportunity. So I think I got a response after a day, feel free to share your resume through my email, and we can get on the call by the evening 3 to 4 p.m. if you're okay with it. So it depends on the scenario to scenario, as we have already discussed that it's a trial and error case. For some case it works, when you're trying and looking into the connecting to people, it works in one way. For some case it doesn't work. So, and also one option is there, go to their post or the LinkedIn feed, check whatever they are posting, and try to engage with that content, tell your opinion, what it is actually meaning to you, and how it is related to your career field, or appreciate the efforts. I think that would make you stand out from and get a response from them.
Awesome share, Mohammed. So let me just process the information that Mohammed just brought on board for the sake of the newer people. Mohammed, the context of what he was talking about had to do with a post of the person he was trying to get a hold of, right, Mohammed? And you were saying that this person also posted something about a job, correct?
Yes.
And then you made a comment on that post about the job, correct?
I didn't make a comment. I directly sent a connection request with a short message that you're hiring for this role, I'm interested in, let's connect.
Okay. So what I want you guys to get out of this, which is kind of totally unrelated to my Diet Coke thing that we were talking about earlier, totally different context. Chase didn't post anything, didn't say he was hiring. So I just came out of the blue. I don't want to confuse everybody else differently. Mohammed's context was that this hiring manager had posted something. And because that was very recent to that hiring manager's mind, he sent a very short message directly to this person saying that he's interested. Okay. The danger with this, with Mohammed's approach, is I bet Mohammed wasn't the only one who responded directly to this hiring manager. So what I want you guys to get out of this conversation right now, I like Mohammed's approach and the timing. He was reading the situation, but I bet you Mohammed's wasn't the only message saying that he was interested in the position. What do you guys think if you kind of vary that? Obviously, it worked for Mohammed because he got a response. But what are your thoughts on sending something else and trying to stand out? It sounds like a lot of hard work, but if if there were 10 people who responded just like Mohammed, but Mohammed had reached back out to this person and said something clever, do you think Mohammed would have even raised his chances that he wasn't just talking about it, but it was obvious that of all the people interested in the job, he was already standing out by what he said? Reactions. I guess I want to hear from the newer people.
I think,
Mo-
hi,
Mo-
Benny. I
Hey,
think
I do.
his approach is good because the manager directly posted about the hiring, so there is no wasting of time to a catchy kind of thing because he's directly mentioning about the job, right? So
Yeah, it's
Mohammed,
actually good because Mohammed got it. He got a response actually.
yeah, Mohammed approached her very correctly, I think so. So it is,
Yeah. So one of the things also that I heard you saying I do was you went direct to the point and you're not thinking around the line of like thinking of something clever. Okay. It sounds like the approach that I was talking about, kind of like the diet approach, takes more effort because I'm trying to think of something more clever. What I'm trying to share with you guys right now, and Mohammed alluded to it. All these approaches are all good. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm giving you a leg up by giving you yet another thing to think about, that always remember that when somebody just posts a job, you're not the only person responding. What I'm trying to share here are different approaches such that if you do apply it, you may possibly have a leg up on it. Okay. Mohammed's approach is kind of like direct. It's intuitive. You guys already know what to do with that. That's not the purpose of this call. The purpose of this call is to give you other strategies that you can apply on top of the obvious, on top of the intuitive, because job search, after all, is all about standing out. Questions?
Yeah, one thing I would like to mention here, like as you said, like there will be like 10 to 15 people who will be like reaching out to the hiring manager. Yeah, I agree with that point. Like, but when coming to the job search, you have to like understand the platform LinkedIn. So basically it's all of analytics and like how like people are reacting to each other post, comment and all. So when I texted the hiring manager, there are only 5 to 6 likes. So you gotta realize there that like only like 5 to 6 people, and that too like you'll understand like who has liked the post or like who hasn't liked the post. So there are chances are more when the post has a less like. So when like some other post has like 200 comments, 300 comments, and you are messaging the same hiring manager of saying that like I'm interested, like then the chances are less for like to get a reply for that kind of thing.
Awesome. Very good share, Mohammed. So Mohammed again pointed to the fact that his approach was really determined by him reading the situation. He noticed that there were only 5 or 6 likes, so he knew this was fairly new. It just got posted. There were only 5 to 6 likes. So sending a direct message made sense in this particular situation. And like we said, it obviously worked because he got a response. Very good nuances, very good discussions. Other questions or comments? Thank you for that, Mohammed.
That was a really helpful moment. Thanks for sharing.
Cool, Venkata. Other comments? I realize it's 1:35 right now, and I kind of want to respect the time for folks with what we said we were going to hold this call to. Did you guys have any other hot issues that you wanted to speak of, or other questions related to what we talked about?
Hi Bernie. So I have a question related to the same as Muhammad. So I came across a profile.
Mhm.
It's in a company that I wanted to apply. So
Mhm.
it was the hiring manager. She posted that she posted a whole overview about Jacobs, like the company, like what the company is, and
Mhm.
she specifically wrote in her post that if you are interested, please reach out to me. So
Mhm.
should I, like Muhammad, reach out and introduce myself and I say that I wanted to connect, or should I say something different, or should I say something about the video she posted about the company?
I want to hear what people have to suggest to Ariba based on what you know, because I realize Neelam, Naidu, Ashlesh, Venkata, Mohammed, Ariba, all you guys are like in different parts of the scenario. I'm curious.
So I would go ahead, like I want to say my point of view with that. Like when was the video posted? So it's like 1 week ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. You got to check like what's the time actually, and what's the engagement of that video. Like it's more than 100 likes or like a 50 likes on, based upon that you have to like draft your message of what I believe. Because like if it has like a more number of views and like a higher engagement, and you're like pointing out the same message again, that what I sent, like I saw that like you had posted a video and I'm interested in this position, that's become a common message when there is a higher engagement. So it
Very
depends on
good.
what's the post is actually like. It's posted new, a bit week late, or like it depends on the situation actually.
Very, very good. Thank you, Mohammed. So what Mohammed is saying is what he said again earlier. You have to read the situation and notice how he's going with like various parameters, because based on what he just asked, that determines your action. So Ariba, this was your question. Please kind of tell Mohammed where we're at so you can process some of this information as to what your move should be with this hiring manager. Go ahead, please.
Should I just go to the profile and check how many likes or views are there?
That would be good. So what I want you to get out of Mohammed's answer is the what you would do isn't necessarily they posted this, I'm going to react to this. Mohammed gave you an idea that yes, you go to the post, see how many reactions there are, because that could determine what it is that you do. If it was like the case earlier where when Mohammed, he saw that there were only a few likes, that means he was earlier in the pile, and he knew that if he sent a message at that point, he would be one of the first ones. So he wasn't having to deal with a flood of people with that person's mailbox. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's very good that he said that. I want to hear from any of the other people with other suggestions, and then I'm going to answer your question more directly with other suggestions as well. Any other thoughts from Ashlesh, Venkata, Naidu, Neelam?
No, Bernie, I'm pretty much, I will follow the same strategy which Mohammed was saying.
Okay.
See the deadline, see the oldness of this particular post, and accordingly draft your message. And even try to, if it is very, very new and if you are very much interested, aligned with your career goals, you can also try to draft email and directly mail them, that particular persons. Mostly emails are first name, last name, @ the name of their company.com. So you can try that as well if you are really interested.
Good suggestion from Ashlesh. So he's going like it's usually first name, last name, and then the name of the company. One of the things that you want to consider if you're sending something by email is whatever you put in the subject has to be very catchy. Okay. If you want it open and to raise your chances of getting your email open, I wouldn't put something that's intuitive. Everybody's going to be sending emails saying about the job. So everything that we've spoken about standing out with your one-liner messages or clever messages, apply the same thing to the subject if you're choosing email, like Ashlesh is saying. Thanks for that, Ashlesh. Others? It doesn't look like there's any others. So Ariba, you know where I'm going to go with this. I like Mohammed's suggestion of like reading the situation and then going with whatever it was. To your point, you said something about a video. I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. Job search is about me standing out from the rest of everybody else who wants the same job. So I would spend a few minutes taking a look at the video, finding out what it is that I like, finding something to compliment the other person about with the video or something in their profile, and put it together with, yes, I'm interested in your job. To me, I think would be a step up from just saying that you're interested in the job. Did that make sense, Ariba?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Any follow-up questions to that?
I'll go through the video, but can I follow up on this on LinkedIn messages, if that's okay with you?
Follow it up here or follow it up offline with me?
offline with you.
Okay, cool. Was there any other question that we can like share with the team so that they could learn with something quick from you? Otherwise, we could end the call right here. Was there anything else, Ariba?
Yeah, there was another question. For example, if you go through someone's profile and you don't find anything, so what could be a conversation starter thing?
Oh, very good. So I'll have Ariba repeat the question. So she goes, one of the suggestions that we say when you're trying to reach out to somebody is to go to their profile, because we state that that should be a wealth of information for you to have a conversation with them with. However, Ariba is right. Some people, they're not very active on LinkedIn. They don't have a whole lot. So Ariba, I'm curious if you wanted to share that profile that we were speaking about so that the students can learn from that discussion, or would you rather speak about somebody else?
I'm okay with that profile.
Okay, cool. So thank you. So Ariba and I had a conversation about, let me share my screen right now. And actually, if you could tell me the name, because this would be a good exercise, Ariba. Let's quiz. Let's give a pop quiz to the rest of the strategists right now. So Ariba, I'm going to go to, can you tell me the name again? It's Ranu, right?
Wait, let me see.
You don't know it either. I probably have it myself.
I
There's
think
Ariba.
it was Ratan. Ratan.
Ratan, spell the last name. I see it.
K-O-T-A.
He's right here, materials engineer. So Ariba, you don't answer. So actually, everybody, if you're on your computer, just type in Ratan K. You can take a look at it, or I'm going to slowly scroll down. Notice that in his about section doesn't say a whole lot. Ratan commented, and all he says is great opportunity. There's nothing to see there, and that he doesn't have a whole lot. So any suggestions from the strategists on the call as to what we could focus on with Ratan?
Bernie, we could start a conversations on the projects he worked on, and we could find an common interest, maybe in the same domain or a particular technology he have used in.
Okay, so I'm looking at the profile right now because this is where Ariba's question is coming from. Ariba's just looking at the profile, and this is what we see. So you said, Venkata, that go to the projects. So what projects are we talking here? This is his experience. Did you see projects that I didn't see?
Maybe in the below sections there were projects.
No, man, this is it. He's got something in volunteer. He says that he was part of the team that planned and organized high school summer camp. But as far as projects, under education, growth behavior, intermetallic compounds in 3-layer, student member. He doesn't really talk anything about projects. So I'm looking for real life suggestions, Venkata. Was that like a general comment, or were you talking about what we're seeing on the screen?
That was general, and I thought I have seen something.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work for Ariba in this case, but thank you for the general comment that you would go to projects. So in this case, and this is Ariba's question, because when you go to Ratan's LinkedIn, there's nothing. So thank you for that shot. Go ahead, Naidu.
I have an approach here. Like, can you please go down? Coming to his schooling section. Yeah, education. There you go. Bachelor of Technology, Metallurgical Engineering, JNTU, Kakinada. It's like 2012 to 2016. Most people in India, especially in Andhra Pradesh, it's the national university. Most people go to there. It's like prestigious university.
Okay. So you have inside information based on what you know. So you know that it's a prestigious university. So what could Ariba say in this case for her initial message to Ratan?
No. I'm telling here, like, it's like referral is a kind of thing which works here because
Okay. you're going a different route. So you're going to go through the people who attended this university in India. Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I might help
So,
her. I think I might help her. I know some of the people from the same university, which is related.
Mohammed,
Yeah, like I would like to say one more thing here. Like as Naidu mentioned, like go to bachelor's degree and like tell this thing. No, Naidu knows that he has studied in that particular bachelor degree since he is from Andhra Pradesh. But Ariba doesn't know that what is Jawaharlal Technology.
let's assume that Ariba does. This is just an exercise. Let's assume that Ariba does know that it's a prestigious university. So what could Ariba say at this point? What's a quick one-liner to open this up?
So I
Well-
think we have discussed previously in our sessions, like one thing is the endorsement.
Well, no, because you can only endorse once you're connected. So in this case, assume that Ariba hasn't connected with Ratan and she's looking for something on the profile so she could make the initial connect request. So thank you for endorsement, but it wouldn't work in this case because they're not connected yet. But I want to follow along this train of thought with knowing that, let's assume Ariba knows that this is a prestigious university. What could she say when she connects with Ratan?
Well, she is already started. Is she already started conversation with him, or she
No,
wanted?
let's just assume it's fresh connect. I want you guys to learn that the question of Ariba is not unusual. You could run into people that you want to connect with that kind of fit the job, but when you look at their profile, there's nothing to talk about. That's where Ariba was coming from. So I guess that was a quick exercise, and that's why I said let's make this a group pop quiz, just to say what you guys think you would say. Okay, so I'm creating the parameters here. Ariba knows that this is a prestigious university. There is nothing else, but we could actually capitalize on that information to have an opening line. So give me suggestions of what we could say. Number one is to compliment them, right? So how would you say it good? Kind of like that Diet Coke remark that we had earlier. Nothing? No suggestions, huh?
So I think you can mention by like how you came across their profile from the mutual connection if you have anyone. So like I have this mutual connection person from this person.
Yeah,
I came across through your profile and you're working in the similar industry where I have studied. So this can be like one point.
Okay, Mohammed just kind of like gave us another initiative by saying we have a common connection. He's thinking around going through the lines of name dropping this common connection. But what about let's stick to the parameters that we give? This isn't hard, guys. I want you to think within those parameters. They went to a prestigious school. So how about you compliment them on that? What could you say to Ratan in your first connect message?
Bernie, speaking about Ariba knowing about the prestigious university which Ratan has been to, then probably I think she could have at least find one mutual contact or a mutual connection who had been to
Okay.
that college. And,
These are all good suggestions, but I'm forcing the issue out here. I want you to communicate directly with Ratan using this information. All your suggestions are good, but what I want you to learn right now is I can connect. The skill that's being taught to you guys is you can put anybody in front of me and I'm going to open the door to that person. The person in question right now is Ratan. The information that you have is out here. I appreciate all the extraneous information that you guys are giving, but the skill that I want you to learn is this that we have in front of us. We know that Ratan went to a prestigious school in India. What could we say so that we could open that door and lay the foundation for a back and forth with Ratan? Suggestions. No suggestion?
Yeah,
What's wrong
Bernie,
with-
can I try? Bernie, I
Please.
want to try.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Aslan.
Yeah.
Don't make this too
it's a-
hard, okay? I already told
Yeah.
you the parameters. Prestigious university from India. And I want to connect directly with Ratan. So let's go, Atlas. Thank you for
It's-
volunteering.
Yeah, it's pleasure to meet you, Ratan. You are from. It's great to hear someone from JNTU. It's a pleasure connecting with you. Can we talk about material science? That's what I would suggest.
Okay. Reactions from the team. Say what you said again, Ashlesh, just so we're clear.
It's pleasure to connect with someone from JNTU. I'm happy to connect with you as I'm also from material science.
Okay, he kind of like switched it. I like your second. I
Paraphrase.
like your second approach better, Ashlesh. Why do you think I was trying to flag your first approach? This is
It
good
wasn't
stuff, by the way.
paraphrased. Yeah, it wasn't paraphrased correctly, and it
Well,
was
why
not
was it?
congratulated.
Why was it not correct?
I didn't congratulated him the first time.
You congratulated him, but you the way you said it the first time was more about your interest. You wanted to learn
Yeah,
about material
yeah,
science,
yeah.
but the second
Yeah.
way you said it was it's a pleasure to like. I forgot how you said it, but I don't know if anybody else caught it. Other reactions. Good job, Ashlesh. I love the way that you caught yourself. Ariba, is this making sense?
Yeah, it is. I think this is better than what I wrote. I mean, how I introduce myself, it's so much better, and it would make me stand out if I introduce myself. But I am not from India, so I don't know about that university.
Yeah. No. I realized that this was information that came from the team. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. When we put our heads together, we can come up with best practices, so to speak, and then it kind of like improves. But I bet you, even if Ariba doesn't know that this was a prestigious university, now she knows that she could approach other people in this way. So I really, really love the discussion. And I actually love the way Ashlesh in the moment switched what he said because he caught himself. So, I mean, learning is occurring. So again, if you want to stand out, the design principles, it's got to be short. We all know that. Number two, it's laying the foundation for a back and forth because your message doesn't end with what you say. You have to think very thoughtfully because you're expecting a response. So when we're talking to Ratan, for example, and we're complimenting them on going to a prestigious university, when you compliment somebody, if they were civil, they're going to respond back and thank you. So you know how it's designed to get that response that we're wanting, and we achieved what we wanted. We're laying the foundation for a conversation, i.e. business relations. Other comments before we end this call? I realize we went past an hour. Hot comments? Hope the session was helpful, everybody. Thank you for joining, and please look out for the recording. If you have any other questions outside of this, please send me a direct message. I think this was a very, very good session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, everyone.